Okay, so when the police officers searched the home, they found lots of other things. Now, the things that are going to come out of my mouth right now, the things that were found in this house are so hard to believe. You're like, yeah, right. There's no way. And then you Google the images, you realize that it's very much real. Okay? They searched the home. What do they find? Where do we begin? A lot of skulls. Human skulls, and these skulls have been sawed off and turned into soup bowls. They also found a chair that had been upholstered in human skin. It's just the seat of the chair, like he used human skin and sewed it onto this chair. I thought Armin was crafty. Nay. Ed was a different level. Yep, he did that. So then he made lampshades out of flesh. I'm not kidding you. He made lampshades out of flesh. There was a box that was discovered and it contained nothing but human noses. Like he sawed off the nose and he put it in a box for a rainy day. But I remember back in high school reading about this, and it was just like, what? Edward made a belt. You know, a belt that you wear on your jeans. He made a belt and it had the whole buckle and everything on it, but he made it out of women's nipples. I wish I could show you a picture. I really do. Because it's like, huh? First of all, how did he even think of this thing? Nipples belt. Edward. He made a shade pole and it had been decorated with a pair of women's lips. There was a shoebox under a bed and it contained a collection of dried women's genitalia. Guess what? There's more. Then, okay, on one wall of this house, there was the faces of 9 women. So Edward cut, I don't even know how to describe this. He cut the face, peeled the skin off, made sure to keep like the face intact so you could tell it's a face, and then he used it as wall decoration. Edward had seemed to be making or like hand sewing a shirt out of human skin, and there was breasts that he peeled off of somebody and sewed it onto this shirt. And he sewed together this shirt, this long sleeve shirt of different types of skin that he collected from different bodies, and it's all sewn together. Wow. Now, Edward would later explain what exactly he was doing, because he made leggings out of skin as well. He was making a whole bodysuit. He made leggings. He made a corset from a female torso. Edward would later on say that he would put on this long sleeve shirt and leggings. He wanted to essentially dress up and be a woman, and that he wanted to be his mother. So he would dress up like a lady in his skin outfit and walk around in it for the night. He said he would just kind of sit around or even go outside in his new skin. He was pretending to be his mother. They just kept finding more and more stuff. They found skulls on his bedpost. Do you remember Mary, the tavern owner? Well, they ended up finding her face in a plastic bag. He skinned it already. And then they found like tons of fingernails, tongues. They found it all. And then just to make it all worse, because, we're already here, so let's just keep it going. They opened up the refrigerator and then they see that it's just stocked with human organs. There was a human heart that was found on the stove. No word on what he was going to do. Was he going to eat it? They don't know. They think roughly there was about 15 different bodies that was found in Edward's home. The police had been at the house all day, pretty much searching and grabbing all these items for evidence, discovering more and more stuff. And then at about 4:30 in the morning, that's when they discovered a bloody burlap sack, and then inside of it was a freshly severed head. Inserted into the ears were large nails connected with twine. It was indeed Bernice. They asked Edward, what were you doing? Why are there nails in her head? And Edward said that he was going to hang Bernice's head on the wall as decoration. So, again, for a minute, it's super easy to be like, this can't be real. But it's real. Ed had some problems. Don't know if you caught on to that yet. Now, I just have to say, just really quick, side note, I won't insert any of the images because they could ruin your day. But if you're curious, you can Google these images and see like the lampshades and stuff and this bodysuit. He made gloves. The flippin' nipple belt. How did he think of these things? How did he learn how to sew? The lampshade. You have to see the lampshade. It's like, what the? How did? What? Look, I just gotta keep it real. He was really like, what's the word? Crafty? DIY king. And yes, it's absolutely disgusting what he did. Obviously, Edward was taken in. Eventually, they got Edward to admit the murders of Bernice and the tavern owner, Mary. He confessed to killing Mary later on down the road, I think like a couple years later, but they eventually got him to confess about it. Now, you're probably wondering like, okay, well, if he only killed those two people, well, where did he get all those bodies? He lived not far from a cemetery for about 12 years after his mom died. He would visit the local cemetery at night. He met a friend there. His name was Gus. And Gus would help him dig up grave sites or graves and open up the caskets and get the bodies out. Gus didn't help participate in the crafting that Edward had going on. Edward would say that the skin of the bodies that were already dead for a while, the skin was really dry and hard to work with. Like it wasn't easy to sew the skin and make his little outfits. So he needed new and fresh skin. And that's why he decided to kill. He liked fresh skin because it was plump and moisturized. I'm not making this up. Edward was charged with 1 count of first-degree murder. He pled not guilty for reasons of insanity. A lot of people claim that they're insane just so they could get like an easier sentence, but I will have to 100% agree that Edward would fall into that category for sure. Yeah. He was unfit to stand trial and was sent to the Central State Hospital for the criminally insane. And then 10 years later, he was sane enough for trial. Within a week, he was found guilty of first-degree murder. As far as Edward's house goes, so people in the community hated this house. Not only did they think it was just representing evil and absolute disgust, but it was also bringing a lot of tourists. But they decided to put the house up for auction, and then mysteriously Edward's home caught on fire and burned down to the ground. Arson was suspected, and people were actually kind of happy that the house was gone. Honestly, I think it's probably better that the house was gone. Yeah.